Star attacks, 98.5% average. That's how strong of a player he is, as we're going to get underway with our first match of the evening between Badzinger and ATN. And Juan's going to be coming in out against Barley, and we're going to see what shenanigans he's going to be up to with the Super P.E.K.K.A. Smash.
Super P.E.K.K.A. Smash, we see, is probably one of the most common attacks that we have in the mix, particularly for ground, though the hybrid is actually giving it a little bit of run for its money, particularly on the hit rate that we're seeing, but this is still a pretty reliable strategy. And we've got Juan kicking this off with the Warden to take down the scattershot compartment. There is that damage that you have to worry about coming around, so drops in these rages to keep those healers strong on top of him and keep him alive and well, so he can get through not only the defense, but actually get through this fast. We do have to worry about the time consideration for this. Typically don't want to get that Warden moving in with the troops any more than with 2 minutes on the clock.
As we know, starting off with that Warden, obviously it takes a lot of time in order to try and execute your plan of action. And, you know, we've seen a few time fails in the past, especially with this attack, and we're going to see how things are going to crack on here. As now was pushing into that Eagle compartment on the north side and making sure everything is clear, but not the AD as of yet, as it will be used momentarily. But remember, he's still got a lot of spells to use in order to make this execution work perfectly. With the blip now coming in, heading straight into the south.
Yeah, so that Warden ability off, I would say a tiny bit early for the blimp, but also needs to be mindful of the troops coming into the core of the base, especially since they're taking on the damage from the scatter shot here. And the blimp does not make its way to the town hall. I'm trying to scour and see what we actually had come out of the mix, which means the town hall is completely open, needs to get taken down, and this is going to be really problematic for Juan because we need to ensure that we pick up that second star. They do not want to start off on the wrong foot with a 1-star. I'm trying to see where the Royal Champ is. She's not been dropped on the board, so this could be the failsafe. We do have bats to come in for cleanup as well. Multi hasn't gone down, so, you know, it's going to be a last-ditch effort to ensure that we get the Town Hall, but he knows there's no recovery here for the 3-star.
Yeah, absolutely not. And that multi in the center got a huge amount of value to start this off as well. And of course, with the bats, they're not going to last too long, especially with everything in that south compartment, especially with both his Wizard Towers there on top of that, just to make matters even worse. 35 seconds left. Not really much he can do here now, just apart from just trying to get the best percentage possible. And it looks like the Town Hall's not going to get taken down either, so this is literally not even, what can you say? It's literally the polar opposite start you'd even dream of against ATN. And surely ATN will be able to try and capsize this. But if this is going to be a 1-star, which looks like it will be, then my word, ATN will be loving life right now, as that's going to be the first attack for Badzinger and probably the first attack of the day. But surely ATN will be able to try and capsize on this, and we'll have to see now as Ass is now going to be looking to see if he can start things off already on the 9 o'clock position and try and get that triple in order to make matters even worse for Badzinger. But having a 1-star first attack of the day, hopefully this won't be a continued trend here for the side of Badzinger. But for ATN, no, they are literally laughing. It's their playground at this time to try and take advantage of this advantage, as you can say. The Queen now just dropping the raid spell, pushing in towards that western compartment already, looking to take down that multi. Already a good start here for Ast.
Yeah, great position for the Queen in a nice open chamber to pick up the Eagle, to take down the Royal Champion, the Queen, the King. There's just a lot of great value within this compartment. I do like that he's bringing in the Skelly spell. I kind of point this out when we do get to see it, that we are seeing more and more of this combination, particularly with the Sui heroes, but it's nice to see with the Queen charge because it is a lot of incoming damage, and he's not running the risk of the Rages being the only thing to carry her through, and he wants to ensure that he holds on to that ability as long as possible, because we just need to forge that Queen across towards the back end of the base where the scatter shot remains, just to give a little bit more power to these dragons who will cut through the center of the base. So I like this approach. And notice the King's position here was looking to see if we have the wall break to open it up, but it opens up that corner compartment, so he's not going to get in to take care of the cleanup. It's going to be the blimp that has to work through everything here. But the good thing is that the King's actually distracting the archer towers while the blimp sails through, and we get our troops coming out.
Seen a lot of Hydra this season, and it's actually been very successful considering the circumstance you've got. You put your units in, and people have been executing really, really well. The Queen, though, still alive and well, just finishing up on that tester farm on the western side, though, and the King just taking out all the strategies on the north, but still got a few dragons left here, and even the dragon riders themselves, they're going to get taken down eventually by Poison. He's still got a couple more drags as well alongside with it. Just that scanner shot on the AD, which is going to cause a few issues along the way, but let's be real here. The RC is going to be coming in to make sure to stop that by any means. It still has a couple of spells. Even with the invisibility spell, that's going to be perfectly fine. But at this point, they're not going to need it at all. That's going to be potentially a clear triple here for Ast, and he's only got 40 seconds left to make sure to finish up on his cleanup duty, and still has the RC ability intact. That's how smooth this attack has been. So, like I says, ATN, they have taken advantage of the performance that Badzinger brought into that first run, and already they're going to have that juicy 2-star lead and 33%.
This is where Badzinger should be very, very concerned to see the strong start coming in.
Then GX vs straight afterwards. But there was a bit of a gap in terms of defenses, so Badzinger just need to try and show that off if they can, considering the circumstances they've now put themselves in. Because considering there's a 33% gap, it does look like they will have to try and win this out on star count. But being behind by 2 stars this early on, it's not looking good. But Avatar's going to be starting things off here for Badzinger to try and get them all on the same page and on the right track if they can. Just kick this off with the Queen there on the south side, just taking all the structures and some of the defenses heading along that way. But for Avatar, I don't see why he can't be able to do this either. You know, he's, in terms of his execution, he's been very successful on the majority of his attacks, especially here in the ESL Mobile Challenge, and just needs to try and continue that with his consistency.
Yeah, Avatar, I love seeing that he's doing a lot of different things, and particularly that he's bringing in hogs to the mix. We're getting to see the log launcher coming through with this one, and when I see this kind of combination, I often think back to what LP had been doing with the full hero dives, the queen charge, the hero dive with the log launcher, and then using those hogs for a smaller section of the base to actually clear it out. 22 hogs it's not a crazy amount to use. I mean, when you think that we have Synthe, who is coming in with like 40 hugs to the table, you need to make sure that you take care of a lot of cleanup and support. So we'll see how he goes along with it. It looks like we've got the log launcher to give the queen the pass. So we are just going to shape up what we need for the hogs and use the king just for a little outside assist.
And normally with these Hog Riders as well, normally you get like at least just one healing spell, but it seems like it's decided to not go with any. But then again, it's not like that's abnormal in any way. You know, we have seen some of these attacks with about 24 Hog Riders without any healing anyway. Normally go with Rage or something else instead. So we'll have to see how this is going to work here for Avatar. Already taking out 40% of this base. The Eagle, I tell you, is still intact on the south side, but it's going to use that King to completely punish inside there. Already most of the defense is already taken out for him. Just make sure he uses his ability to push on in. The RC is also there as well. Queen's still got her, so still looking very good for Avatar as it is. As now finally the Hog Riders have started coming out on that western side and now be pushing in straight towards that multi.
Yeah, look at the multitasking going on. He's keeping an eye on the king, the royal champion, working on one side. Obviously, we have auto ability to go through, but he is focusing on the queen as well, as the hogs have been dropped down, dropping the freeze over the single targeting inferno, holding onto her ability, knowing that he wants it there for the back end of the space, taking down the town hall. Now with this, we've got the hogs through, only one heal spell. That actually, I think only one heal spell. Did he even have a heal spell into the mix to get those hogs working along? They've taken care of a ton of cleanup, but the royal champ is really shining on this one, hanging on to her ability right there to the very end to help with some of those remaining defenses. Avatar really has this under control, and this is a kind of turnaround that Badzinger needed into the mix. He's looking to get the troops rallied.
They do have that 53% defense, which is at least 5% more compared to the second team, which was Entropy, and that's definitely saying something, considering the teams that are up against it over the course of this region. But Boom's going to be coming out now to see if he can continue to make sure to punish him for that one-star performance earlier on by making sure to keep that triple trend going on. But already some decent damage here in that 4 o'clock position.
Yeah, so, you know, I had talked about some players maybe not necessarily being so predictable in what they're doing, but Boom is actually one of those players, though he's shown a lot of versatility through this season and through other seasons, but we do know him very much for his Blizz Lalo. He was one of the players that probably got that hit rate up pretty high through ESL Mobile Open because he's just so successful with it. So comes in with a very nice start, clearing that pass, taking down the scatter shot, and giving the Queen a nice fighting opportunity to get into this town hall compartment. And I like the positioning of the king because I'm almost anticipating that we're going to have the royal champ potentially work alongside, maybe help take down that multi. Now the king's Loons actually cutting across for the queen here. So we'll see if he's going to just try and take some of that to his advantage to get that royal champ to still work through, or if he's going to switch gears a little bit here.
Both heroes have actually completely avoided the poison there, so it's gonna, at least for the queen now, she can stay alive and do a little bit more damage along the way. The king's still down, pushing in from that 7 o'clock position as well, as now the majority of his Lalo attack is going to be coming in from the west side now, just looking to head in straight towards that AD to tank all that damage, as well as pushing towards the scanner shot at the same time. Still, he at least got 3 free spells and got a couple of haste in the back pocket to make sure to keep this as aggressive as possible. But I do like the position of these Loons as well, just making sure to take all angles as well. Ooh. And we'll find that Tesla Palm directly in the center here, so it may cause a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah, I was just noticing that the Warden pulled over to the Royal Champion, but I think he got the ability off before it was really an issue, so that it did cover the majority of the Loons. And as you can see, holding on to these freezes just for this pretty nasty high damage area that he's coming into. Look at those pops going on to the Eagle. This is everything that these Loons need to try and take it down, but getting targeted by the ADs. The Loons go down, the pups are going down fast. And this is losing a little bit of ground to stand on, though I am impressed to see that Barbarian King still alive and well in the mix just up until now.
Yeah, considering he started off in the Town Hall compartment and had to flank all the way around, and the distance he's done, he's pretty much done a marathon going through the entire course of this base. And, you know, as you said, no, he's done a lot of work, did get a lot of value, but it's just not going to be enough. It will be a 2-star night. Well, maybe a 92 here, but by the look of things, it's going to be a little bit unlikely. But in the end, though, you know, this is the first mistake. But the problem is for Badzinger, A-tier need to make the first mistake of many if they can here. But every little helps at this point. Considering their percentage, they will need to try and win this by star count if they can. But that's already given themselves some leeway. 2 stars, 92% for Boom. Still fine, still nothing wrong with it at all. It's a great attack nonetheless. But the problem is it's going to give Badzinger that little bit of room and a little bit of faith here to come back in this matchup.
Yeah, they just need a little bit more of that. That's all. And a much higher percentage on defense for themselves. So we'll see if they can recover this one. This is why I try not to count out too many teams if we do see the 1-star, especially at this level. Badzinger is a team that could easily turn this around, not only because they have solid performances through their team, but the defenses that we do expect to see coming into the mix. And to be able to hold off Boom on a Blizz Lalo, I think speaks loads to the defenses that they are bringing today.
Yeah, right. You know, we said it before where back with ATN, back in the first week especially, they were very diverse for the compositions they bring to the table. Last week, they were quite generic with the Dragon Runners, but we haven't really seen that as much as of yet. Even though it's only been a couple of attacks, we're kind of getting a flavour of what ATN are bringing. But it would be Mask's defense for Wasted, which needs to try and crush if he can. We've been talking about Mask so much about his attack, but we'll see how his defense works out in this matchup already. Just going straight in for the Town Hall.
Yeah, going right in there with the Yeti Blimp, and this is nice. We're seeing more and more Yeti Blimps with the Rage, of course, in use to take down the Town Hall, but also to get some of the surrounding defensive value out of the mix here. And we do have an outlying Yeti to try and clean up just a little bit more. It helps to get that pull of the CC troops. This is a really nice start to this, and I also like that he invested that freeze to hold off the air sweeper, just to ensure that there wasn't any pushback and he could get the right positioning in there with his blimp. So Wasted off to a good start. Just need to start taking down these CC troops, and then he can get going into this mix with his hero dive and really shape up a pretty proper path here for the Lalo.
Yeah, the Queen still continues to do work there on that eastern side, especially in that compartment. We'll be pushing in slowly but surely here. So already got a slow passive approach, which is what we expected by any means. But the problem is the Queen now has just had to use her ability now to go on forward, which is completely understandable. But the question is, how is Wasted going to try and approach this? The RC has come out. The King has also come out, like you rightly said. There's a lot of micromanagement involved here for Wasted in order to try and crush this. But that scatter shot compartment is going to be absolutely huge as they try and clear that out. But we do have to deal with a lot of defense here. With the Rage spell does come down, but don't forget he does have a few haste later on, does have a healing as well in case he gets into a spot of bother. Wasted now, not looking too bad here coming into this.
Yeah, the heal's something nice to see back in the mix. It's kind of like an old school strategy that we used to do back in like Town Hall 9, Town Hall 10, 11.
Back in my day.
Back in my day, you know, when dinosaurs roamed the earth. So it's a really nice position to have that heal when you get into multis, kind of in that core section. But really, for any splash damage that you just want to heal up those loons in a nice big group. But those multis are typically one of those areas that you want to consider. This is actually an interesting approach because look at how he's coming in with these loons from opposite sides. Just bookends, working their way in to get up towards that center of the base. A Warden ability, of course, in great timing to help keep these loons strong through the multi and drops that heal so that we have nice, fresh loons coming in through the center of the base.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a pain that the multi and the single were able to get a lot more longevity in terms of staying alive in the center. But do you know what? After all that, it doesn't even matter. 88% and counting. 20 seconds left to clean up all the dirty work with the structures there from the south. And it looks like he's going to be A-okay here. 12 seconds left until we finish off the barracks and the storage. And it looks like Eagle's going to be done and wasted. I must say, very strong performance there.
Has been known for their defenses and tripping up the best of them. So if they can keep with that notion, if they can keep with their reputation, they could have the chance. And that's kind of what I'm keeping an eye out for, especially because that's what I predicted here was Badzinger with this first win. So Yo-Yo, though, wanting to put a little throw in the mix here. So he's coming in with the Queen charge with the Wall Wrecker, which we're actually seeing a little bit more of. We don't get to see it very often, but it is nice and refreshing. It actually offers a lot of opportunity to get to town halls where you can use a Queen from an opposite side and then work your way in, especially if there are any storages in the way.
Yeah, I always say he's quite creative with his spells. It's nice to see a nice lineup there. A lot of micromanaging is going to be involved, but we'll see how he's going to crack on here with that Wall Wrecker now just coming in towards the town hall to create that funnel. And even though the Queen will have to deal with 3 ice columns there, it's going to put a huge delay onto this push, but we'll see how this works out as the race will coming down once again. It's going to be a real nuisance, and at the same time though, there's actually more damage output coming out from the defensive demon than it is for the Queen, so the Queen may even have to pop her ability at this stage, and it wouldn't be too much of a surprise either. The loons also coming out now from that 7-8 o'clock side. Her ability has been popped in the end, so you can see the ice columns did work beautifully in order to try and delay the Queen enough so the defenses can get enough DPS going in order to try and take out the Queen. But Queen just still trying to stay alive for long as possible. But all the loons here in the center, what Yo-Yo of course is known for, and still the multi just trying to get as much as physically possible. But look at all those loons and look how much damage has been done here, B. Oh my god!
Oh, that tornado trap doing Yo-Yo dirty. And you know what? The timing of the Warden ability, maybe just a little bit too early because that would have been the prime spot to go for. Also unfortunate that the Royal Champ cut over the pathing where she was intended to go for those multis in the center of the base. This is putting a lot of pressure on the Queen to actually handle business and finish this up. But with only 47 seconds left to go, I'm not so sure about this because we've got a lot of storages for the back end, though the minions are working on it. The Queen's going to have to beat through the walls to get to the multi, and she's already on course for the scatter shot. This could come down to the wire, but it actually is looking like it is going to get the job done. If the Queen can do... Oh, if she could have beat on the right wall, Lethal.
This is just absolutely typical. There 20 seconds left, but even at the same time, will the storage get taken down? Will she even make it in time to get multi? Well, actually, she does get the first one in here. Still trying to progress into the center, but it's just going to be blocked off once again. Of course, the minions won't have any part of it. Oh, this is such a shame. It's surprising that all those loons, after them getting destroyed, Yo-Yo was still almost able to get 100%, but a 2-star,
1-2, the multi-section, this would have been a very different story. So one building off, and it puts ATN in a position that this could shift the tides. It really depends on what they have coming up more defensively. But Rakira's looking to follow this up strong, bring home the 3-star, and again, apply the pressure to ATN, drops down that Zap Quake. So we're coming in a nice spot where we're opening up the pathing, leading towards that town hall, getting the blimp, some good value coming in, and really starting to shape things up. We still have the scatter shots on the board that we're going to have to worry about, and the Eagle, but all of this is on the outskirts. So whether we're using the heroes for one section and then the loons for another side, all of it is easily accessible and easy to reach without having to invest too much on the spell side.
Well, with Rakires, we've spoke about him a lot, haven't we, B? We've nothing but sung his praises over the last few weeks. 12 out of 13 of his attacks have been triples. Definitely, I think he had one of the highest attacks, literally, which wouldn't be too much of a surprise either, an average of 98.5%. So, and the fact that Badzinger at this point, and you've got Ramirez still left in play in order to make their next attack, Badzinger will be pretty happy with this, and they know how consistent he can be. So the Queen now is still going to have to deal with some of the defense here from Asp, but we'll be able to get rid of that momentarily and fast enough in order to now approach that Wizard Town. The Kings also come out as well to take out all the structures on the north side to create that funnel. But Ramirez is looking very good indeed, and hopefully he can show the level of play which he showed back in the ESL Mobile Challenge season here in this really crucial match for them against ATM.
Yeah, so we do have beautiful power along with the heroes coming into this. King actually providing some excellent tank for the Queen here, taking down that scatter shot single-handedly, and this is allowing the Queen to hang on to her ability just a little bit longer so she can round the corner and pick up a few more defenses. This is a very wide Lalo path to have to come in from, so he's taking it bit by bit, holding on to 10 more loons that he's going to start bringing in from the outskirts so he can push his path working towards the center of the base. Wants to reserve this warden ability as we're making this approach towards the multi-targeting Inferno, as you can see with the scatter shot raining down and those beams targeting the loons. It's looking good so far. With the Royal Champ, this is going to potentially seal the deal for Ramirez.
Yeah, literally, Ramirez only just used the RC ability so late on, but at this point, he didn't really need to, did he? Still got a free spell left intact, and that last haste spell could do itself justice. The loons are split perfectly to take out the rest of his defense along the way. And did we expect anything less, Pete? No, we did not. This guy, like we said before, we sung his praises all season long, and it looks like he will be able to seal the deal. He's got 20 seconds left to make sure he does clean up everything else intact, though. Even with all those loons, it doesn't look like they've actually split accordingly here, as making sure just to finish everything off. But it looks like he's going to be okay. He's going to be fine, taking up the last and final drill, and that's going to be it. Ramirez is going to add, and expect it to be quite smooth sailing for ATM, but now that they've caught up and it's based on percentage, ATM know, well, they now know that 1-2 SAR could absolutely cost them this war and drop them into the losers bracket. But Barney's going to be starting things off here as the fourth attack, which means Master will be the last one coming in, and already kick this off with the King and the Queen there on the north side.
Yeah, so Zapquake's the core of the base, taking down one of the Infernos, and I believe one of the Air Sweepers in there, which is likely going to help the pathing. With his hybrid section, Heroes to take down the Eagle. I always like the approach of taking the Eagles down early because you limit all that nasty damage coming in. Now, the tricky part is going to be timing this right, because we want to bypass the Town Hall Poison Bomb, and there's really not a lot of meat inside that base because we just took it down. It's great because we're going to bypass any of the potential damage zone where we would see the traps coming in, but there's a very narrow path for these drags to actually work along. So ideally, maybe we don't have a clone spell. I would say work along the outer edge so they can meet up with the heroes and get just a little bit more value with this one.
Yeah, he does have a rage spell still in the back pocket, but the Blim's having a little bit of a hard time. They're trying to get into that Town Hall compartment. Does manage to get in there in the end. The Town Hall does get completed, but the problem is, OB, the Drags, you know, they're literally just evaporating at the moment. Not many of them have a lot of HP, especially the Dragon Riders down south, especially as well, just pushing straight into that poison. But let's have a look what's left, though. Still got the AD and the Scatter, still got the Tester Farmers out in the west compartment, and you know, that's where the meat and potatoes is going to be in order to then push on forward. But I don't think he's going to have enough at all. He can definitely make a go of it, but he hasn't got any spells, hasn't got any freezes or anything like that to make this work. And this could be the opportunity that Badzinger have been looking for throughout this entire time. Barney is going to have to go just on percentage here.
I like the patience here. Now, you pointed out no spells. A freeze would be really handy right now for this scatter shot. You'll see the damage coming in, but the drags can take it. The Royal Champ sailing right underneath and through, hanging onto the ability is huge for this. But the dragons are really taking on a lot of force now, and this is where it is going to fizzle out. Lethal, this is the defense that Badzinger needed to get back in the game. They've got to go in with the 3-star, but they just might have secured themselves working along into the upper bracket with Avatar's massive, massive defense.
Oh, I actually can't believe it. This is like where miracles are made, really. And the fact that 18 have made 3 slip-ups in a row and has given Badzinger the first advantage. I'll be honest with you, I don't think I was going to see any advantages coming in from them up.
They know they need to, like, this is how they can secure this victory. I wouldn't even want to have to worry about another defense to the table here. 3 against ATN is a huge order, and they actually achieve that. But we have seen a lot of consistency here from Dima as well throughout the season, coming in with that initial lightning spell drop down. No Quake involved in this one. I'm just looking to see if he took down not an AD, but just opening up some of the path here. Took down the air sweeper to help with the direction of this Hydra.
See if Hydra attack's going to work here, going straight into that scanner shot compartment. We've seen some great things from Dima. Hopefully he can seal the deal. If he gets this triple, then it does mean that ATN have dropped in early into the loser's bracket and Badzinger will move on. It's just a matter of Dima can actually do it, and if we've jinxed him here, as already now the Drags and the Dragon Miners now pushing in down to the south side here, as the multi's getting a little bit of value along the way. But the thing though, the Blim has actually come in. The Loons have split up just a tad, but that's going to be perfectly fine. Using the Rage spell just to try and secure that as well on top of things. So the Dragon Mine is still stuck to try and take down the Expo there. But I will say this though, B, these units have already taken a chunk of damage, and I'm worried about the longevity of this.
This pathing is a bit wonky too, and you can see all of his dragons shifted across to the side where the blimp went for the town hall, ideally meant to cut through into the infernos right there in the core, working alongside with the king and queen. The king and queen have actually done a lot of great work so far, and you can see that king carrying along, taking care of a ton of cleanup, and the royal champ just trying to sneak her way in to pick off that multi that got left over to the end of this base. Now this is all about reserving your abilities as long as you can, but there's far too much here on the back end. Freezes up that scatter shot for the queen, trying to hang on to this, but we still have that defending queen and the warden tower, which packs a pretty nasty punch alongside of a single targeting inferno. So those are things that are just going to roast heroes on the back end no matter what you have in the mix.
Look at the RC is just heavily distracted in the north as well by those lava pups. The queen are still pushing down the south side, but there's 45 seconds left, and the problem is though, will she have enough though in the tank? That's going to be the issue here. But the problem with the defensive queen literally standing her ground with that single, there's going to be absolutely no chance. I mean, the RC still just heavily distracted, and Ben taking them by those pups. That's going to be all it here. 30 seconds left. His Dima will not be able to seal the deal. And funny enough, ATN are the ones to try and close this down if they can. They've still got a percentage, but just need a triple. And you're right though, it's a lot of pressure for a player to come on in and try and bring up the reputation which Linade had, and then with Mask coming in. But I think he's kind of filled the boots here. He's been an incredible attacker across the board. We've seen him do some great things. Definitely one of the best we've seen so far in this region alone. And we're going to see now if he can try and secure it. This is Mask, of course, you know, probably at least in the top 3 in terms of the attackers we've seen so far this season. We're going to find out if he can finally get this triple in order to get ATN through into the upper bracket final.
Yeah, so Mass coming in with the Queen Charge Hydra. He is a versatile attacker, though. I actually love to watch him doing hybrids. I like when he goes in with the ground style attacks, especially because he has taken the place for Linade, who was the resident hybrid and hog attacker. But definitely coming in with what he knows is going to be the right approach for the base, not just trying to fit in what he might want to do. So Queen working her way along nicely. We are going to have a bit of holdup because we do have the ice golems here, so this is going to slow it down slightly, but that's not a huge risk as far as time goes for these Hydras, especially if you can keep that Queen alive and well to help through the back end of the base.
Yeah, we said it before, Badzinger technically ahead as ATN need a triple to guarantee the victory. Percentage is not playing a part anymore. This multi is getting a fair amount of damage here across the board against this attack here, especially in that west compartment. The blimp's coming in as well, and this is where it's going to get very chaotic. We can see if Mask can come out on top. And you know, we talked about how great his performance has been this season. This triple will definitely help themselves out in this upper bracket final. Blink coming into the town hall. The race boat comes down as well in order to make sure that is going to be secured. But these Drags have taken a little bit of damage along the way. They've still got to deal with that multi in the center, but the RCZ is also there to make sure to clean up on that scanner shot as well, and also make sure the multi is also taken out on that northwestern side, sorry, the northeastern side. So now Drax are pushing down the south. The problem is though, this attack is literally evaporated once again. B, is this Mars gonna fail once again?
I just blinked and those dragons went away in the center of the base, took on way too much damage. And with the Royal Champ having already used her ability, there is nowhere near enough health for her to finish this one off. I said it was a tall order. It was a huge thing to ask for. ATN coming in with a fail, getting that defense against them. The fourth defense, but it has happened. Yet another defense for Badzinger, which means even with that 1-star start, Badzinger is able to claim the victory in this match, and they're going to be moving forward into the upper bracket. This is incredible.
This is ridiculous. You had a dream start with one of your opponents going 1-star 67%, and Badzinger really